you action figure enthusiasts out there. JC here, and welcome to a Friday edition of TNInews, the live edition. And we've got a few things to go over today. An update on the latest with the Hasbro pricing situation due to tariffs. So we'll talk about that. Plus, we've got some news. A little bit of news this week. It's overall been very slow because, again, due to tariffs, we are seeing a definite slowdown with things. But a couple of things that I did want to touch base with you in the way of toy news. But before we get into that, let us do a quick roll call, see who is in the house here. So first of all, we have Rolf Fuller as a new action figure enthusiast member. So Mr. Fuller here is actually our 50th action figure enthusiast member. So what that means is we are definitely going to be doing a $100 store credit to Big Bad Toys Store to celebrate that. That's the good news. The bad news is because we just hit the 50th mark minutes before going on to the stream, I have not had time to add all the new names to the prize wheel. So we're not going to do the contest today, but we will do it on the next live stream, which should be Monday. So, but definitely there is next week, we are going to be doing another contest giveaway for action figure enthusiast members for $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. So big thank you to Mr. Fuller and everyone who has become an action figure enthusiast. Now, on just the off chance, basically I've said this before, but what I'm aiming for is every time we hit 10 new members, we will do a contest giveaway for $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. So if by some remote chance between now and Monday, we gained an additional 10 new members, we'll do two giveaways on Monday. I don't know what the chances of that are, but I'm just throwing it out there that if 10 more additional people decide to become an action figure enthusiast, we will end up doing two. But definitely one, because we've hit the 50th mark, 50 action figure enthusiast members. Big thank you to everybody who's done that. If you're interested in becoming an action figure enthusiast member, check out the link in the video description below. All right, Mr. Bird is in the house as well. Happy Friday to you. Quinn's Comics is in the house. Greetings and Excelsior. Hope you're having a terrific day, my friend. Same to you. I saw the stream with Matt yesterday. I agree with everything he said. Very insightful. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. John from Ireland is here as always. Good to see you, my friend. Paul is in the house. What is up? Elio is here. What is up? We also have Zim in the house. Turtle Dave. Good to see you. How you doing? Our second John here, also in the house. Good to see you, my friend. The Mass Figure Collector from the UK. Good to see you. Figure Fury is in the house. Comics 1017 is in the house. So good to see you, my friend. Judge Dreads is in the house. Max Zombie is also here. Mr. Allmine, good to see you. All the familiar faces. Lonzo here, good to see you. Let's rock. Mr. Allmine, yeah, 50 members. Congrats. Thank you. Again, thank you guys for just taking that little extra mile to become an action figure enthusiast member. It is much appreciated. Mr. Hanzo is here. What's up? Fantastic Friday from Felix. Of course, Salome is here as well, joining us today. So I know you guys always love it when Salome joins us. Chris is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Slim, good to see you. So it looks like we got a pretty packed house today. Rick AE. We also got Phoenix Richardson. What is up? John, another John Estrada. What is up with you as well? All right, so let's get into just the regular toy news first, since we didn't really do any of that on Wednesday. Let's jump over to the news screen. So probably the biggest news of the week, I'm going to say, is we got a new announcement from Loose Collector, who has been teaming up with Rob Liefeld, of comic fame, comic artist fame. and announced that they're going to be doing a 112 scale Youngblood figure. So you may recall that this is part of their Extreme Universe line, and the first two figures, which you can still get at Big Bad Toy Store, Bloodstrike and Blood Wolf. I believe they're both still available. Yeah, so you can get those at Big Bad Toy Store, but they are now teaming up. Basically, Rob Liefeld, Cool or Loose Collector, and Platinum Studios, who owns the rights these days to Youngblood. They've all teamed up, and so we're going to start getting actual Youngblood 112 scale figures. So Shaft and Die Hard are the first two figures that they've announced for Youngbloods. We're just got the digital renders at this time, but they're looking pretty good, decent accessories. So these figures will incorporate what they're calling their Generation 2 body mold. So I believe the first figure to incorporate the added articulation. I'm not sure if the Bloodstrike and Blood Wolf had those, but the Captain Canuck figure, which is part of the Iconic Heroes series from Loose Collector, incorporates that Generation 2 articulation. So I don't think that one's actually been released yet, though. The other two, the Bloodstrike or the Blood Wolf and the Bloodstrike, those are out. You can actually get those in hand now. But again, Youngbloods, Rob Liefeld's one of his first independent successful comic books, is now getting a new updated action figure line. Had a cartoon series back in the day, actually had an action figure line previously back in the day, not like a collector oriented one, but again, Youngbloods is, I don't know. I mean, obviously, those who are into Image comic stuff, I'm sure are familiar. But again, outside of comics, Youngbloods had a cartoon series. So, and when we get updates, I don't know when these will go up for pre-order. I don't know, especially again with everything going on with tariffs, it may be a while before these actually get released. But again, I'll keep you updated when we get more information on these. For you Turtle fans, Shredder's Revenge, the recent video game, Playmates Toys, there was a Shredder's Revenge box set, collector video game box set released a couple years ago that had these figures in it. I believe it's the exact same figures. But now it looks like Playmates Toys is doing a bundle option where you can just buy the figures themselves. Some overseas retailers have started to open pre-orders for these. As far as the US, I don't know when we will see them available or even where. I don't know if they'll end up being like a store exclusive like these things often are. But again, for Shredder's Revenge, we're getting some retro style Playmate figures for the Turtles. It's just the 4 Turtles. And again, I believe it's the same figures that they released in that video game collector set a while back. Godzilla vinyl figures. Main thing I want to touch upon here is I think this went up for pre-order. Yeah. Main thing I want to touch upon with this is Funko and Mondo have announced increases in pricing due to tariffs. So it's sold out, so I can't show you. But basically, it would show you how, I want to say it was like $35 extra. I won't swear to that. But somewhere in that neighborhood, it was like an extra $35. But again, just know with Mondo stuff, we're going to start seeing added costs due to, at least temporarily for with the tariff situation going on. Jack Specific has announced a new action figure line that will be based on the DC Justice League Sonic the Hedgehog video game mashup comic series. This was something they first announced last year in September. I don't know if any of the comics came out, but this was some of the promo artwork that they showed off for it. But Jack Specific is going to be doing action figures, play sets, plush stuff as well. So this will be stuff geared for the kids more so than anything, just like, in keeping with their Sonic the Hedgehog action figure line that they currently do. But they say articulated figures. They say they'll be doing both Sonic characters and DC characters. So Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman were mentioned in the press release. I don't know what scale they will be. Again, not a lot of specific details on this, but if you're into Sonic the Hedgehog and DC and want to see like a mashup line, then Jack Specific will be doing figures for that in the coming days and months. For you Walking Dead fans, we got a new 1/18 scale figure from Hiya Toys. This went up for pre-order at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth this morning. So this one, again, this is a 1/18 scale, not a 1/12. But overall looks pretty good. Comes with a couple of different weapons, multiple hands, a walkie-talkie, and a figure stand. So a 4-inch figure. $25.99 is the MSRP on it. So again, for you Walking Dead fans, we had our second to last haulathon drop this morning. So 3 black and white Mirage Turtle figures, and then a Halloween figure and a plush figure. I think these are all still available. I haven't really specifically looked, but I think these are all. I don't think anything has sold out with today's drops. In fact, NECA actually announced just a few minutes before going live that at least this one, the black and white foot ninja guard, will be available outside of Target starting on Monday. So they're not even waiting that long for these. None of these are Target exclusives, and at least that one will be available for pre-order. Pretty much everywhere that carries NECA figures starting next week. So, and of course, these have already been hitting Target stores, physical stores. So you probably, if you walk into your local Target, good chance you'll probably see these on the shelf as well. I don't think the Michael. Yeah, none of today's drops have sold out. The final haulathon drop will be next Friday, so we got one more to go. Next Friday at 9 a.m. So far, no indication of what will be available next Friday, but we'll probably get those teases next week. I'm still curious to see if the Sesame Street count figure will be made available again online, since Target put it up, last week in the middle of the week, not actually for Target Haulathon. So, and it sold out. So I don't know if that'll be made available. We probably will see this one, this Universal Monsters red shredder, that's different from the regular version because it's got the red coloring, again, for Target. It's been listed on Target's website, but I don't think it's been made available at any point. So that may go up next Friday. Not a whole lot on the McFarlane Toy front. It's been very quiet on the McFarlane Toy front. Amazon did make this available again. This Dark Knight Returns Multiverse Cover Recreations figure for $29.99. It is available currently. If you missed out originally when it went up, this was the first figure. Of course, the Killing Joke figure was the second one in this line that was supposed to be available through Amazon, then got switched to being released through Walmart. Then apparently somebody robbed the truck with all the Joker figures on it, And so nobody, as far as I know of, at least in the United States, ever received their Killing Joke figure for this recreations line, because apparently somebody robbed the truck, and all those figures that were heading to Walmart were on that truck apparently. This is not really toy related, but a little bit. It was announced this week that McFarlane Toys co-owner, not Todd himself, but Stefan Trelot, probably mispronouncing that a little bit. He's a Canadian entrepreneur, again, as part owner of McFarlane Toys. But this week he decided he wanted to buy GameStop Canada. It must be nice just to have the money and say, hey, I want to buy, a franchise. But not all GameStops, just GameStop Canada. And he's going to be renaming it EB Games, which was the original name for GameStop Canada, Electronic Boutique Games. So he's going to return the name to EB Games. But again, McFarlane's co-owner is now owner of GameStop Canada, which kind of explains. Yeah, I often wondered why McFarlane Toys seems to put a lot of emphasis on GameStop, and I guess that maybe kind of explains that. If the co-owner obviously has a he obviously likes GameStop so much so that he bought it. So again, that's probably it. I will tell you, flipping over to Marvel, we did get official images for the 1/6 scale Marvel statues. So this is Spider-Man, Punisher, War Journal, and Deadpool. So we had seen these announced at like WonderCon and stuff. GameStop Canada has these up, but they are not available for pre-order here in the United States. I don't know when they will. Again, right now it seems like there's a hold on pre-orders here in the United States due to tariffs. So, I don't know when we will see pre-orders here in the United States really resume in full force. So, but again, Amazon Canada had these up, and eventually at some point they will be available here in the United States. These are the 1/6 scale statues. No specific Marvel Legend news for you guys this week, but we do have a preview for the Amazing Yamaguchi Revel Tech Cable 1.5 figure. I don't know when this will go up for pre-order, but again, a new Revel Tech Cable figure is coming, and this is our first look at it. And flipping back to Mondo, we also have our sneak preview. Even though we saw this figure, was it WonderCon, I think? But Nightcrawler looks like it's going to be the next 1/6 scale 97 X-Men 97 figure to go up for pre-order, possibly next week. But Nightcrawler, like I said, we saw this figure actually on display at WonderCon. Image via Dan and In Pursuit Toys. So that was Carnage, which was also on display. But Nightcrawler again. So this, I believe, will probably go up for pre-order next week. This 1/6 scale figure from Mondo. And no idea what the price is going to be on it, so that's something we'll have to wait for. Star Wars, not a lot on that front. We did get a new Black Series Target exclusive pre-order this week from the Andor Season 2, the Tactical Agent figure, the ISB Tactical Agent figure. I believe this is still up. Sorry, hit the wrong button. Yes, it's still available on Target, $24.99. I will say I have not been a huge fan of the Andor Season 2. I think I've mentioned that before. But I will say this week's episodes, we've been getting 3 episodes a drop. Next week is the final 3 episodes, but this week's episodes I actually thought were pretty good, and I'm looking forward to next week's episodes. Basically, this is going to take us right up to Rogue One, which I really like. So the first time with Andor season 2, I actually really enjoyed the episodes. So other recent pre-orders we had. Going up on Amazon earlier this week. I think these went up on Monday. This Droid 2-pack from Jedi Survivor, the KX security droid, and Droidica. So I believe these are still available. No, they're not. I don't know if this actually sold out or if Amazon has just been taking down certain pre-orders. I think, again, because of Hasbro price changes, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. So it's getting harder to tell when something's actually sold out and whether something's just been removed. The other thing was this Commander Cody helmet. All right, let's see. New Godzilla movie announced. Supernova, Godzilla Kong Supernova is coming out March 26, 2027. Got a little teaser. Nothing really big, but again, the title for the next Godzilla Kong movie has been announced. Again, it'll be called Supernova for you Godzilla fans. Big Bad Workshop, Operation Monster Force. Some new figures have gone up for pre-order. These are offered exclusively through a Big Bad Toy Store. So Black Watch Agent and the General. So if you're collecting the Monster Force stuff, again, those have gone up for pre-order. I think that's pretty much all the news. We got a new Peacemaker season 2 drop. New season starts August 21st, so it'll be after the new Superman movie airs. So yeah, I think that pretty much brings us up to date, other than just the update on Hasbro and its increased prices. So throughout this week, you've probably heard that Hasbro is planning on increasing their prices. The price increases were supposed to start today. And if you noticed, if you've been to Hasbro Pulse, you will see that pretty much all the new. Sorry, I know. Salome wasn't happy about that. So when you click on anything, it says temporarily unavailable, and that's pretty much all new pre-orders, whether it's Star Wars, GI Joe, Marvel Legends. Pretty much anything you click on for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse right now, it's going to tell you temporary unavailable. It's not because everything's sold out all of a sudden. It's because Hasbro again was planning on increasing their prices, but I guess decided to hold off for now and essentially has put a pause on their own website for pre-orders. Most other e-tailers haven't done that, though. Again, I have seen a few things on Amazon that seems to have just suddenly not currently available on the website, but like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, they basically are just keeping their prices current to what they were and waiting to hear what's happening. So kind of to give you a breakdown. So first of all, it's worth mentioning, earlier this week, Mattel's CEO did this interview on CNBC where he basically said that he did not see toy manufacturing ever returning to the United States. Only and that basically you were just going to be seeing increased pricing. Now, Mattel went on to further say that they've been diversifying their manufacturing, moving it out of China. Right now, they still manufacture about 40% of their products in China, but according to the interview, he said that, sorry, that dropped down. But basically, he was saying that their end goal is that they're going. There's no one place. Basically, that there's no one place that'll have more than 25% of their manufacturing. But again, U.S. is just not the technologies to make things like action figures and stuff is just not really available at this point. So just bringing toy manufacturing back to this country is just not very practical. Is the point that the CEO was making. Now, our president apparently didn't really like that because yesterday during a press conference in the Oval Office, he was asked about specifically Ford. Ford has also come out and said that they were expecting prices to start going up on automobiles. But he was specifically asked about Ford and Mattel and their recent comments about the tariffs causing prices to go up, which is a narrative that the president is really trying to prevent from getting out there. He keeps telling us that the tariff costs will not be passed on to the consumer, though that doesn't really seem like reality. But so he basically said that these guys were just trying to get his attention to negotiate. We talked about on Monday about how the Toy Association and companies like Mattel are trying to request zero tariffs on toys. And he said, Ford, he specifically said Ford wasn't going to raise their prices because they just wouldn't sell cars. I don't know if that's really the case. I will tell you, when it comes to automobiles, the automobile companies had been stocking up on parts and stuff, trying to basically create a cushion so when the tariffs kicked in, they could still keep making cars without raising the prices. How long that will last, I don't know. But eventually, if this were to drag out, you would likely see your car prices go up. But toy companies don't really have that luxury. They are going to start passing the cost on to the consumer much sooner. And so Donald Trump, in a little bit of a confusing statement, started calling Mattel a country. I think that was a misspeak on his part. But essentially threatening to levy 100% tariff against Mattel, preventing Mattel, even though he said him, from selling toys in the United States. Now, again, you can't really put a specific tariff on a toy company. I think what he meant to say was whatever country Mattel were to go to have their toys produced, they would then slap a tariff on that country. Even though that would be pretty vindictive if they were going to start following around one specific company to tariff just because they said something he doesn't like. But nevertheless, essentially was threatening Mattel with 100% toy tariff in his press conference in the White House. But since then, early this morning, on his Truth Social account, he stated that he was open to lowering the tariffs on China to 80%. So right now they're at 145%, but he's basically indicated that he would consider lowering them to 80%, which is still very high. But and what he was referencing to is this weekend, high-level officials from China and the United States are getting together in Switzerland to start talking about negotiating, trade deals, essentially. So I think what's happened is everyone is now waiting to see what happens this weekend with these negotiations between China and Russia. So I believe what the reason why Hasbro didn't initiate their higher prices today like they were originally planning to is because now they're going to wait and see what happens this weekend, um, and then go from there. So I don't really expect any movement until Monday, when we get word of what has resulted from this. If all that happens is the U.S. reduces the tariff from 145 to 80, I don't know if that's enough. Obviously, it would give people hope that there's a de-escalation happening with the trade war that's been going on, which will certainly probably help the stock market a bit. But again, whether that's enough reassurance for toy companies to be like, let's hold off on raising our prices, I don't know. So again, there's not much communication going on between the toy manufacturers and the wholesalers and the retailers. Again, because it's just such a chaotic situation that's going on that nobody really knows what's going on, and therefore everyone's having very hard times making decisions. But again, what it appears to be right now is Hasbro is on their own website has just stopped taking pre-orders, put a pause on their pre-orders. They didn't raise their prices. I think all the other retailers are kind of waiting to see what Hasbro does. If they start raising their prices on Hasbro Pulse, then the retailers will then probably follow suit. But again, I think everyone's kind of in this holding pattern right now, in this very fluid situation where things, they're changing, instantly. So, what I tell you right now could be different, 2 hours from now. But again, currently on Hasbro Pulse, they have pretty much made all their current pre-orders unavailable. Retailers, the ones I've talked to, they're kind of in a holding pattern. They've decided not to raise their prices today. So like if you go to Big Bad Toy Store, they essentially still same thing they've been doing, where their products are listed at the normal MSRP, and then they've basically got the little disclaimer that says, when something is ready to ship, then they may add on the extra tariff cost to that price. Entertainment Earth, they had raised their prices, and nothing's really changed on that front. Again, Amazon had started raising prices 2 days ago, and some of the stuff still is at a raised price. So these Spider-Man Gamerverse figures, and these are in-hand images that are from an overseas retailer, Sergeant Pepper's Hobby Club. So these have started to come in stock overseas. It's unclear when we will see these here in the United States. So one thing to note is, besides just raising prices with the tariffs, another thing that's happened that's going to impact especially this hobby is things that nothing is really shipping currently from China to the United States. So that's why you hear people talking about how the shipping ports in Washington, the state of Washington and stuff, they're virtually empty right now because nothing is currently shipping. So stuff was shipping, I think, as late as early this week. So if something shipped pre-tariff situation, it will end up, getting released here. But anything that hasn't shipped up until that point is probably going to be delayed. And of course, I can't sit here and tell you what exactly has shipped, and what hasn't shipped. So I can't tell you if things are going to be delayed or what have you. But I'm telling you that as things stand right now, pretty much shipping between China and the US has come to a standstill. And so if it hasn't shipped yet, if it didn't ship out before this started to happen, then likely you're going to see delays with releases of products. So like this, I think these Spider-Man figures might be a good example of that, where we're now seeing them overseas. But unless they started shipping to the US, before now, then it may be a while before we actually see these on any shelves or retailers here in the United States. But getting back to my original point, Amazon they had raised the price on all these Gamerverse figures, and just today they started putting some of the prices back. So this is, you can see with this one, it's $24.99. That's the original MSRP. But let me find this one is now marked up to $27.99. So again, earlier this week, Thursday, all these Spider-Man Gamerverse figures had been marked up to $27.99, and now some of them have been put back, but some of them haven't. The Maximum Hulk figure, which originally was priced at $60, $59.99. Amazon has now upped the price to $64.99, and that one is still at the higher price. So, Amazon kind of started doing their own thing with price increases. This one was actually it's been removed, so this is one where I don't think it actually sold out. I think Amazon just essentially took it offline. But this one, a couple of days ago, Amazon was selling for $32, and these aren't secondary sellers. These are directly from Amazon. So Amazon's pricing has been kind of wonky last several days. I will tell you that it almost felt like Amazon was just guessing at what Hasbro's new prices were going to be. I will tell you that the information that I had received on what you could probably expect for Hasbro's new prices, and these could vary a little bit from retailer to retailer, but that for a basic Marvel Legend Black Series G.I. Joe classified figure, you're going to see the new MSRP go up to $29.99. For a regular vintage collection figure, you were going to see the price go up to $21.99. FX lightsabers we're going to start being priced around $325. The role play stuff for helmets, $130. For Transformers, you're going to see deluxe figures $30, Voyager figures $40, Titan figures $260, and Commander figures $120. So that, based on as of yesterday, was the information I was seeing on what you were likely going to be seeing for the new MSRPs from Hasbro. But again, all that seems to have been put on hold for now as we kind of wait and see what's going on. The Dreadnought Monkey Wrench, a lot of the recent G.I. Joe classifieds, again, not currently available. This was another one that had gone up in price to about $28 on Amazon. I find it hard to believe that everyone ran over to Amazon after they had raised the price and it sold out. So I feel like Amazon just turned this off. And it's not every figure, it's not every figure. I don't think every single figure is going to get hit with it, assuming they end up moving forward with the price increases. I think it's just going to be the most recent stuff that you're going to see get hit with the higher prices. And another point I wanted to kind of address here is I see a lot of people saying, well, once Hasbro raises their prices, they're not going to lower them. And under normal circumstances, I would agree with that if we were just talking about normal price increases. But I do think with these tariff price increases that even if Hasbro does raise them temporarily, I think they will probably put them back to normal prices, assuming all this gets resolved. And I think just because you see Hasbro seems to be, very hesitant to want to raise their prices here, I definitely don't think we're talking about a case where these companies are just using the tariffs. And I see these kind of comments on social media, but I think those people just don't really know what they're talking about. I don't think Hasbro wants to raise their prices due to tariffs any more than we want them to raise their prices. So I won't, obviously I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see the future. I don't know how any of this is going to play out, but I do feel like that even if some of these prices do go up temporarily, they will end up coming back down, assuming the trade stuff gets resolved and the tariffs get removed at some future date. All right, so that's really all I have for you guys, but let me just look through some of your guys' comments here. Turtle Dave, cat butt. Yes, nothing says hi like Salome's cat butt. Felix, I pre-ordered it off GameStop. I'm assuming you're talking about Cyborg Superman. GameStop has been the only retailer so far to offer the Cyborg Superman. I think we talked about that last week. Figure Fury, as if Mondo's pricing wasn't already insane. I hope Mondo prices don't go too insane. I'm still 2 Ghostbusters short. I've heard, and I won't say this for sure, but I heard the next real Ghostbuster figure may be going up for pre-order as soon as next week. They haven't teased it yet, so again, I won't say it for sure. But and again, we've got that Nightcrawler figure, so that'll give us an idea of, again, we saw the Godzilla vinyl figure this week. And we'll see I'm pretty sure we'll see Nightcrawler at least go up next week. But the next real Ghostbuster figure, I believe, is supposed to be going up for pre-order here pretty soon. So as far as prices on that, we'll probably get an idea. The new line, Hanzo says, the new line of G.I. Joe Classified with Monkey Wrench, Cobra Commander, has been changed to unavailable status on Amazon. Right. And again, all except for the Cobra Commander as of Thursday night, Amazon had raised the prices on that whole wave to the $28. Cobra Commander, for some reason, was still at the $24.99. But yes, those seem to have all been essentially taken down. Again, I'm assuming very similar to like we see with Hasbro, where they made everything unavailable. And I'm guessing that has to do with them waiting to see what the new prices are going to be, or to see if Hasbro is going to go forward with raising the MSRPs. Right. He mentioned that. He mentioned that this morning on his True Social. So we'll see. Again, we'll see what happens this weekend. I feel like that's what the toy companies are waiting to see. Everybody's hoping that reason prevails and such. So we'll have to see. But I think that's what essentially reason why you didn't see the new prices go into effect today like originally planned, because they want to see what happens this weekend between China and the U.S. Now again, I don't assuming they drop it to 80. That's still a very high tariff. So I don't know if that will be enough to prevent prices from going up or not. Again, it'll give people hope. It'll be a sign of de-escalation, so that might be enough. I can't predict the future, but I think people would at least like to see the tariffs drop to 50%. I know, again, 10% at most is what everyone I've talked to in the toy industry is hoping for. At the end of the day, at most 10%. Of course, obviously they prefer 0%. But if I seriously doubt we're going to drop down to 10% this weekend. At the absolute most, I would say 50%. And again, Trump mentioned 80, so that may be as low as they end up going. But again, those are just things we're going to have to wait and see. Judge Dreads, I saw news videos talking about toy stores, and all the comments were saying how lame toy collectors were. Yeah, but I mean, people on social, you guys not included, you see a lot of dumb comments on social media. If the product was on water with destination log, it won't be a problem. Exactly. If it's something that already, was on its way to the United States, then that stuff will end up, getting released on time. But what we don't know is what stuff was already on the water, what wasn't. Somebody asked me through our Facebook page about like McFarlane Superman movie figures. Those could be delayed. And may not match up with the movie release, like I'm sure Warner Brothers would like to see. But I couldn't say that for sure, because it's also possible those already had shipped and will end up getting released on time. But again, a lot just depends. even if, like, say this weekend they completely came to an agreement and everything pretty much got back to normal after this weekend, the delays will still be felt to a certain extent. um, it's just a matter of how long the delay. So the longer this drags out, the worse the delays will get. That's why you hear on the news a lot of people talking about, Christmas will be canceled because the shelves will be bare and that type of thing. So if things got resolved this weekend, again, you would see some delays, but I don't think it would be the end of the world. I think you would probably see most stuff get to shelves by Christmas time still. But if this drags out, that's when you're going to start seeing, where it's a good possibility that there won't be much on the shelf in the way of toys and stuff come Christmas time. Yes, he said dolls. Of course, he was talking about Mattel, which is most known for Barbie. So Hanzo, rich people making rich people decisions for rich people with rich people in mind. I will say I kind of have to laugh. I laughed when I heard that the negotiations this weekend between China and the U.S. were going to be taking place in the Swiss Alps, which is a pretty luxurious place. So I'm like, while we're all waiting on pins and needles to find out what happened, they're basically going off to, this luxury place to sit there and negotiate this. Quinn, any word on McFarlane Toys lowering the amount of production to get all the figures out before his license runs out, as well as fulfilling purchases orders with companies like Diamond and E, etc.? I have heard a lot of rumors, and I don't want to regurgitate flat up rumors without having any basis to know what's going on with stuff like that. So nothing specific that I can talk about here. But definitely, if you've watched McFarlane here recently, you can tell it's pretty clear that production numbers have been reduced. Whether that has to do with McFarlane losing the license for DC or whether it has to do with the tariff situation or a combination of both, I don't know. But and again, a lot of stuff is if this drags out with the tariff situation, a lot, you're going to see not just with McFarlane, but with a lot of companies, and not just with toys. I mean, that's what we're talking about here today. But this is going to affect far more than just toys. Um, but yes, you're going to see delay. Everyone's going to probably start experiencing delays. Um, Already, you've seen. I mean, this month, from what I can tell, there are no substantial pre-orders slated to go up. New pre-orders for products from anybody. Mattel, Hasbro, McFarlane. Um, you know, pre-orders for new products and stuff are kind of been put on pause from what I can tell. And how long that pause lasts, I don't know. But right now, I've not really seen anything for the month of May for new product pre-orders. No Marvel Legend, no new Marvel Legend pre-orders. Again, nothing really from Hasbro. So again, definitely delays, and the longer the stuff drags out, the worse that's probably going to be. And I think what a lot of people don't realize, and again, this goes beyond toys, but with the way this I don't think any reasonable person thinks that, definitely when you start talking about things that are produced for national security, microchips, things like that, that we definitely need to get into a position where we're not reliant on some other country so much. We saw shortages happen with when COVID happened because we were so reliant on outside countries to produce things. But when you start just throwing everything in there, including things like toys, which, like I say, I just don't think it's practical that toy manufacturing is really ever going to return to this country, that you see a lot of damage that I don't think needed to happen. So it's not that, tariffs can't be a useful tool in a limited capacity. I think what a lot of people have problem is the way it's just kind of like taking a sledgehammer to just break everything to get the few things that you wanted approach, which I feel like this administration has been doing with a lot of different things. And that's where people are upset about. But a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of small businesses, they're already being affected by this. I can tell you, I've heard from a couple of different sources of some of the smaller, not public companies already starting to lay people off, or furlough people, because there's just so much uncertainty going on right now, and it's constantly changing. Every day we get new news. Like I say, yesterday Mattel's threatening 100% tariff on Mattel, and today we're hearing, that Trump is thinking about lowering the tariffs on China to 80%. Tomorrow, who knows what it's going to be, and so on and so forth. So it's really one of the biggest factors here is just the uncertainty that is generating a lot of chaos and a lot of fear from companies, and that fear is affecting decisions they make. How much stuff are they going to produce? At what price is it going to be sold? Retailers don't know what to order because they don't know what the prices are going to be. So that's why this is all such a mess. All right. Well, we are getting up on 4 o'clock, so I think we're going to call it a day. Um, Next week, again, we are definitely going to do a $100 store credit giveaway for Action Figure Enthusiast members since we've hit the 50 member mark. Again, just throwing it out there, but if 10 more people signed up between now and next week, we'll do 2 giveaways. Again, I don't really expect that, but just throwing it out there. But again, we're definitely next week, I would say almost definitely Monday, Wednesday at the latest, we will be doing my next live stream. And again, whether it's Monday or Wednesday, but probably going to be Monday. We're going to do a giveaway for Big Bad Toy Store $100 store credit. So big thank you to everyone who became Action Figure Enthusiast members. Again, I really do appreciate that. Probably not going to, other than, like I said, we'll probably get an update between now and Monday on the Hasbro price situation once we find out what happens this weekend with negotiations. I won't say that to 100%, but that's what I'm kind of expecting at this point. So, but other than that, I'm not sure we're really going to get much new toy news between now and Monday, but we'll probably talk about that if there's any changes on the pricing front with that. And then again, we'll do a giveaway to kind of help you offset those if those increase in prices happen. But again, thank you guys for tuning in today. It is always appreciated. Salome has gone over to her chair to take a nap, so but she appreciates you guys tuning in as well. Until next time, guys, stay safe out there. Try and have a great weekend. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.
Thanks for watching today's video.
Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,